Hi, my name is Cathy and I'm a member of the Church of the Nazarene at Parkhead, and I worship there on a Sunday morning with my husband and my daughter and her family. The focus this week is listening to God. I feel prayer is a personal one-to-one conversation with God, and very often I feel that God speaks to me through scripture. And with the current climate and under lockdown, sometimes I can feel quite anxious and frustrated or apprehensive about having to go back out again. The scripture that often comes to mind in a quiet time of prayer when I'm listening to God is, "Be still, Cathy, and know that I am God." And that brings me a great deal of peace in my life. One of my experiences in praying and listening to God, I remember praying for a family member whose life was out of control and spiralling downwardly quite quickly through alcohol abuse. And I remember speaking to God in prayer and saying, "God, you have to do something. I'm at my wit's end, I'm at the end of my tether and I don't know what to do next." And I heard that still small voice within me that for me is my God consciousness, my God speaking to me and saying, "Cathy, don't worry. I know the big picture. I have it all in hand." And I felt a great deal of peace. It was like a wave of peace coming over me. And 6 weeks later, that person got themselves sober and has stayed sober since, and that's a few years ago. As a Christian in prayer, I try to, when I'm speaking to God and listening to God, I ask God what His will for me is in my life. And for me that's a process, and sometimes it's praying for the willingness and the courage and the power to carry out God's will for me. And it is a process, and it takes practice. And I don't always know when I'm working in God's will, but I know when I'm not in God's will, because I get that anxious feeling within, and that wee voice, some people call it their Jiminy Cricket voice, but that wee voice for me, that God consciousness voice, I don't have any peace, and I start to get a niggle and I start to think, that doesn't feel right, and that's when I know I'm out of God's will. So yeah, if I'm out of God's will, I'm not in it, and if I'm in God's will, I'm not out it. And I know that working in God's will and trying to do that on a daily basis and trying to be obedient to what I feel God's saying to me brings me a great deal of peace. Is it easy? Not always, but I definitely get the benefits of it. So I want to wish you a God-filled day and a peaceful day. Thanks very much.